Finally, one of our children is to be wed.
After so many years of courting, she's finally found the right cousin.
I thought this was absolute ludicrousness.
Nonsense.
I fell in love with it within 5 pages. This sort of marries two of my childhood passions, namely my mum sort of bringing in Downton Abbey and a love for the Jane Austen period dramas, and then my dad's passion for, well, basically the sort of silly humour that the Brits are known for, from Fawlty Towers and Monty Python, Only Fools and Horses, and those two together seemed like a questionable idea at the time. But literally 5 or 6 pages in, I thought this is going to be hilarious, and then when I read about Archibald, it sort of it fit perfectly into the sort of character that I thought I'd have some fun with.
What really attracted me to it was the variety of jokes. There were, within the first 5 or 10 minutes, you've got visual gags, you've got clever gags, you've got silly gags, you've got wordplay, you've got double entendres, you've got a kind of quite highbrow joke about the Bechdel sisters and the Bechdel test. You have it was just such an array of jokes coming at you from all directions. I thought, wow, this has got everything, and
I don't think any film's like that, let alone set in a 19th century manor, if you will. But yeah, the myriad of like clearly visual gags, and then the subtle wordplay that Jimmy and the brothers brought so well into the script. It's almost like you don't know quite which to laugh at first, and I've seen it half a dozen times now, and I'm still finding little bits and pieces that I missed the first time. So it's.
But I loved seeing that array of different types of joke and humour and pratfalls and everything, but set against this sort of foreground story that could be straight out of Downton Abbey or Gosford Park, or we looked at Upstairs Downstairs as well, and those kind of very serious British. And I thought, oh, that's going to be brilliant to have. We're going to be shooting 2 movies, and at times it did feel like you were shooting 2 movies, one of which has been played dead straight, and one of which I have to take to the guys, no winking, no looking at what's happening behind it. I know it's silly and stupid, but you've got to play it as if it's... And the hardest one, I think, wasn't even one that Tom had to do. It was Thomason and Katherine Waterston had to have this very intense discussion about the future of Fackham Hall, and is it going to be taken from them, and they're going to be out in the street, and in the background you've got Damian Lewis, one of our great classical actors, giving himself a Heimlich manoeuvre with a suit of armour, and then staggering, and he's coughing, and and they're going, do we not look at that at all? And I said, no, you don't look at it at all. And he barged through them, and he coughs bread on them, and so it was like shooting 2 movies, and time-wise that was a big old challenge. But the most interesting thing you asked about the script was the tone of that, is going, can we do something that is played so straight and is at the same time so ridiculous and so hilariously funny, and hopefully we have.
I think we have. From also, has Damian ever done comedy to this? I mean, has anyone ever done comedy to this level? Probably not. But just to see his comedic nature.
But I've always felt that people said, Damian Lewis, he doesn't, he does very serious stuff and he doesn't do comedy. But actually, if you look at something like Billions, there's a very nice, deft comedy in a show like Billions. And I saw him doing a modern version of a Shakespeare on TV with Sarah Parish many years ago, and again I thought he had comic chops.
He definitely does, but it's sort of, I imagined it more in a sort of slick humour, and Lord Davenport obviously is the Lord of the Manor, but he's probably the most ridiculous of the Davenports, and yet he does it with such air and grace. It's hard to know whether to sort of take it seriously or laugh out loud.
But that was one of the things I wanted to get, as I'd always had this idea that if you came to it and turned the sound down, you would look at actors like Tom and Damian Lewis and Katherine Waterston and Emma and Thomason and Ben, and you'd go, wow, even that picture behind you, like that could come straight from a very serious period drama. And I wanted that to happen until you went, did I just see a topless butler walk by? A male topless butler walk by? Or, did the other guy just fall down a manhole and nobody even looked at it? That's what we wanted.
Well, it's a really touching sentiment, like moment between Ben and Thomason with Tolkien having maybe there's something in the air, and then we cut to
Tolkien on the toilet.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing that's like, how are we gonna? Well, not how are they gonna pull this off? And then when you see it, it's as funny, if not funnier, than you thought.
I think that was probably the question I was asked most on set by the actor. We don't react to that at all, do we? No. Even though he is shitting his guts out, we don't react. No, you don't.
I said a few times, are you sure you don't want me to clock this or that? Nope, just play it straight. Why would you bring this up now? I mean, I spent the last 12 months in therapy trying to get over Archie's... I'm not quite sure. Personally, I think Archibald is a catch, and the ladies should be falling over. I can't tell you exactly because it would reveal too much of the plot, but he is unlucky with the ladies in the film, largely because they fall in love with other men.
and also because he's a dick.
Well, so,
glad to hear.
Wait, what? That's not how I was playing it at all. Yes, no, he's a very entitled prick, for lack of a better word, and thinks that the whole world should revolve around him, as I'm sure people of that ilk did at the time, which only makes it more delightful when he's slightly short-fallen when it comes to love with the ladies.
But I love your loyalty to Archibald.
Absolutely.
Tom has a great loyalty to Archibald, and that's what makes him a little bit... There are moments, I don't know if you thought, moments when he looks a little bit vulnerable, where you feel like, oh my God, he's just a stupid idiot.
And he wishes he was good with the gun, and he shoots Lord Davenport twice. There are some nuggets of sheer, oh, poor boy. But
not many.
Not many. Largely, he's just a slimy git, so...
That's hilarious.
Unlike Tom Felton.
Yes, thank you.
Said. Unlike Tom Felton. It was not typecasting.
Fackham Hall.
From now on, it'll be Fackham Hall.
I think this is a great Christmas movie. I do.
Yeah, and we've got a bit of snow in it.
Yes.
We had snow that day. Weirdly, my kids laugh at me because The Wizard of Oz for me, because it was always played in Ireland. We only had 2 channels, and Wizard of Oz was on at Christmas, and I watched it every year, and I continue to watch it every year on my own.
Now I've just got this image of you there with a brandy or something, just watching Wizard of Oz. This year, I might join you, Jim.
There you go. We watched it together.
I want to say Home Alone 2. We're in New York right now, and obviously this is a great image of the. Yeah. I think it is actually supposed to snow.
It's supposed to snow today. Yeah.
The idea of a white Christmas.
I would have to give a shout out to Your Christmas or Mine and Your Christmas or Mine 2, both of which I directed. So I do have a holiday theme in me. And I wrote a play once called The Buddhist of Castleknock that was set at Christmas in Dublin.
Crikey, so there's a theme there.
I'm just Mr. Christmas.
There's a theme there.
You have a
Mr. Christmas.
Festive director. Before I finish that, I remind myself of something we just said earlier about the collective experience of comedy. Like coming to the theatre, whether you're watching drama or whatever it is, you get to sort of share the experience with everyone. I can't think of a better film in the last sort of decade or so that could bring walks of all life, from sort of young-ish to people that grew up with sort of the old classics of British comedy. I think people will laugh, cry, and hoot holler as much as ever has happened in the cinema. So,
or as one of our writers said, he said it's not just that there's loads and loads of jokes. He said it's very emotional too. So I would recommend bringing some tissues because there's also a sex scene.
Strip that from the records.
I just remember snort laughing, like really rude, loud, like uncontrolled laughter. It surprised me so much, and it was so beautifully written. Like the jokes really came across on the page, and you could really, they set the scene so well. It's actually, something we haven't talked about much, just like how beautifully crafted that script was, which, you talk about when you're doing dramatic films, but it was a gorgeous script, and I was just chomping at the bit to get to say some of these lines she had.
Yeah, me too. I laughed out loud. It was very silly. It's clownish. It's an uncynical, clown-like piece of silliness. I feel like we need a bit of that. I certainly responded to it when I was reading it. It immediately felt like it had that sort of Naked Gun, Airplane vibe to it, and yeah, I was in. I also think it was very funny playing a role who who won't die. He's a man that clearly the writers are trying to kill from the get-go, and he just won't die. And I thought that was very funny. No, I enjoy the physical. I really enjoy physical comedy. I will say that. I just always have. I enjoy the clown as a concept. And what's quite interesting about this film is that actually everybody, I think, without exception, even Lord and Lady Davenport have their clown-like moments where people are able to clown, to use the verb. And certainly when people are trying to kill you as often as they're trying to kill you, and the physicality of that, there's an opportunity for clowning. I enjoyed it very much, culminating in that scene with Anna Maxwell Martin, which was.
Yeah, I think she's the person who kind of gets things done in the house, or at least she perceives herself that way, and I think thinks her husband is a little bit useless. And so I think she does feel that the burden is all on her shoulders to sort of save the family, and that is kind of her life's purpose. So it not going well is, shocking for her, terrifying, and like the prospect of a different kind of life totally bewildering to her. So it was really fun, to play all of that. You come at it just like a dramatic role in that way, and I think we really trusted the strength of the comedy on the page, and so it was kind of our duty to build the characters and not try to get in the way of the jokes and just let them roll. I feel like Thomasin was quite good at keeping a straight face.
Yeah, she had good discipline.
Yeah, and she also,
on the other hand,
I think the thing about Thomasin is that she could kind of transform her, her surprise in the moment where she might almost corpse into a kind of bewildered expression or sort of look of shock. So she had a good technique for holding it together. But really, like, for the most part, they call cut, and it was like an act of mercy. Like the minute that they call cut, like everybody just be like falling out of their chairs, and it's just such a fun way to work. Like a great ensemble like this, and everybody so hilarious. It was a delight to see everybody kind of thriving in it.
When in doubt, Fackham Hall.
Fackham Hall.